Hey everybody, Dee here from D is for Digital. Welcome to today's interview rather than a masterclass. As you can see, I'm in the company of somebody else today. This is Jozelle Miller. She's a trained health psychologist and she works with the government of St Vincent and the Grenadines. She's also the CEO and founder of the Value Experience, which is a psychological consultancy company. She's launched her very own mobile app, which makes her perfect for D is for Digital. And she was also recently certified as an NLP life coach, a mass practitioner, and a massive fan of NLP. She's also she hosts a radio program weekly and is a columnist for one of the leading newspapers in St Vincent and the Grenadines. So Jozelle, it's wonderful to have you here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Not at all. That's a long list of achievements you have.
Yes, I try to keep busy.
Oh, well, and so you work for the St. Vincent's government and you have your own practice on the side. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
So I try to spread myself out somewhat to help as many persons as I can. Yes.
Fabulous. So why don't you give us a little bit of your background and how you've ended up doing what you're doing now?
Well, from a child, I had this tendency towards listening to persons, and persons would always say, you'll be good as a counselor, you'll be good as a therapist. And it grew on me to the extent that, I decided that I want to further my studies in actually understanding psychology and human behavior. Mm-hmm. And I think because I grew up being a pastor's child and I'm a Christian, so it became as a natural fit because the kindness, the compassion that you have towards human beings, it was an easy fit for me to just transition into psychotherapy and to actually extend some level of, counseling to persons who are experiencing different troubling situations.
Wow. And I would imagine, you're making me think of a conversation I had with someone recently from Anguilla, and she was saying she's part of a WhatsApp group for mothers and working mothers. And she said one of the things that they're suffering from right now, particularly with COVID, is just the pressure on kids at home and pressure on the parents at home, and the psychological impact of that is really, I think it's understated.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. And, a lot of times we take it for granted that our freedom of movement is something that should not be so celebrated and appreciated until it is taken away. So the moment now we have to practice the social distancing and, the physical distancing from other persons, that's when a lot of the anxiety emerges,
Absolutely.
But amidst all that is going on with COVID, you still have to be connected, emotional connectivity, psychologically, and we can reach out, using apps, using social media, using all of these different devices to our benefit.
And how has COVID impacted the St. Vincent and the Grenadines?
Well, we have roughly 17 cases, I think it probably went up to 19, but I'm not exactly sure the last figure. Yeah. But persons have been somewhat mindful to, maintain the distancing as well as the personal hygiene, washing of the hands, using the mask and all of that.
Yes.
And we really empathize with other nations, other countries who have had it much worse. And we are praying that we continue to have small figures reasonably, and we're able to manage, the outcome, because post-COVID, I expect to see this new change, this new world, new society that persons are going to have, some transitional issues and adjustment issues. Yes. But, from my standpoint as a psychologist, I'm ready to help.
Lovely. And what advice would you give to anybody listening in right now who might be feeling a little bit disconnected? And I suppose a lot of us are feeling overwhelmed with what's happening. What advice would you give to people listening in?
Take the time to slow down, because amidst all that is going on, we keep pushing to be in touch with everything, and sometimes you have to actually take the time to disconnect, because a lot of the information from various sources can sometimes be confusing and conflicting, and that can add to the anxiety. So take some time to actually meditate by yourself, appreciate your space, appreciate who you are. And I say to a lot of persons, when you have been busy for so long, you say to yourself, I need a break, I need a holiday. Look at it now that you have this time to exhale and to actually invest some energy into figuring out where you are, what's your next move, because post-COVID, you have to be innovative, you have to be creative, and take the time now to actually regroup to get ready for the next step.
Yes, love it. And I was so interested to read that you have your own app.
Yes, the app was launched officially last Monday, the 4th of May.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. It's exciting. You know, in the Caribbean, psychology is still something that people are warming up to. And the aim behind the app for me was to create a virtual space that people can sit in the comfort of their own homes, wherever, and you can still access care. So you do not have to be so intimidated about coming into a clinic space and feeling that other persons are looking at you, because that's one of the things from a very small island of St Vincent, being just 110,000 persons, that we have now a case where everybody knows everybody.
Sure.
So people are afraid to come out and say, well, you know, I need help in this area. When we have the virtual platform, you have now the opportunity to connect with different psychotherapists and counselors. And the good thing is, by the end of the year, we're going to have other persons from around the world on the platform as well, other professionals. So you don't have to think that you're going to be narrowly speaking to me only, but you have persons from the States, from Jamaica, and I'm in dialogue with a lot of different persons to actually help.
Yes. Wow. And what was the process like for building the app?
Well, I hired someone and he was, oh my God, he was amazing actually, because I am not very technologically savvy. So a lot of the back end stuff and all of these things, and I have an IT person that I work with in the Valeo, and they were the ones who would have conversations. And to be honest, Dee, I would be like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. But he helped me to understand how basically each phase, how it works and how it is all going to come together. So, I mean, he's someone that I will definitely recommend to anyone, because he's very patient. And even if you don't know the language and you don't understand a lot of it, he's there to explain it.
Wow. Yeah. And if someone wants to download this app, where can they get access to it?
Google Play.
Google Play. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And do they just Google Valeo?
Yes, the Valeo experience. Yes.
Brilliant. Okay, perfect. And I'm interested also in your NLP, so neuro-linguistic programming, for those of you who aren't familiar with NLP. I've been studying it for the longest time. What got you interested in that field of study?
So, being into human behavior, I then wanted to go a bit deeper in terms of mindfulness and actually appreciating how your mind functions and how that connectivity between mind and behavior. And NLP, you know, really struck me. I was intrigued by it, because a lot of the things sometimes that we take for granted in terms of how we respond. Like, for instance, there was one exercise in the whole program where you ask the question and he says, you know, would you describe yourself as being friendly? And then he says, think about how your eyes arch. And I would not have paid attention to that normally. And he explained that sometimes when you veer off to the left versus the right, that it tells you when somebody's actually lying to you, when somebody's trying to make up something and stuff like that. So, you know, it was very interesting, and I really want to branch off into coaching, because psychology tells you the why. It gives you the association in terms of when something would have happened, when the foundation started. But coaching takes you a step further, where it is now giving you practical steps to move forward. And having somebody there to actually cheer you on and tell you that, okay, come on, let's do this. Let's keep you focused. Let's keep you accountable, you know, which is, I think, in my estimation, is one step further from where psychology would lead you.
I love it. Yeah, because I've always understood as psychology is very about understanding the past and where the problem came from. And, you know, really, I suppose, drawing your lessons from it. Whereas coaching is a lot more forward looking, practical. What are you going to do next and move on?
And I think we need that. That's
I think we do. They're very complementary as well, both of those skill sets.
Yes, 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 definitely. And I think because I think I have the trifactor. I tell people that. The trifactor being that I have the spiritual background, which in the Caribbean, that's very big as well because we
Yeah.
are strong in our beliefs. I have the psychology and I have the training in NLP, which put it all together. And I think I have the trifactor approach to help persons move from different phases of your journey.
Yeah.
And I understand life all the time to be a journey. It's a process. Yeah.
Love it. And are there any particular, I suppose, for want of a better word, problems or situations that you want to focus your coaching on? Or is it sort of, is it life coaching? Is it business coaching? Is it?
Right. So it's life coaching, but I want to zero in a lot in terms of resiliency coaching and the overcomer aspect
Yeah.
that for a lot of persons, they may have these challenges, but actually realizing that other persons have overcame, other persons would have gone through this, and now it is to use the best practices, if we want to call it that, so that now you can be empowered to understand that if Jozelle did it, you can do it too.
Too. Love
Yeah,
it. That's very inspiring, isn't it? Very empowering.
yeah, yes,
Wow.
definitely.
So what are your goals then? Next, you've already done the app and you have all of these qualifications and this fabulous resume. I mean, what does someone like you aspire to in the next couple of years?
Well, by the end of this year, I want all of the other practitioners to be on the Value platform. So that's my immediate goal, and to make sure that that virtual platform is off to a great start. And then I am also launching very soon my coaching service and attach it to the Value as well.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to get into that. But in the next 5 years or so, I hope to at least have one other book under my name. I want to do a children's series on resilience,
Wow.
bouncing back. Because I have a strong compassion for children who have endured rejection and neglect, as well as abuse, child abuse, sexual abuse. So I really want to do something along that line to let them know that, okay, fine, this bad thing happened, this monster came out and he attacked you, but you know what, there is still sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
There is still sunshine, and you still have a life in front of you. And I wanted them to feel that they can bounce back from anything.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And for maybe there might be some practitioners listening in who are really interested in, the Valio experience. How would someone get in contact with you if they want to be part of that forum?
Okay, so the website is www.valerexperience.com. You
Mm-hmm.
can also find the Facebook page, which is the Value Experience, as well as the Instagram, Valeo SVG, on
Lovely.
Instagram as well. I am on LinkedIn, so persons can reach out to me there as well, Jozelle Miller, or even on my Facebook page as well. You can also reach out there. My number is 1784-593-8298.
Perfect.
Okay, 1784-593-8298, or send me an email, thevaleriaexperience@gmail.com.
Perfect. Now,
Yeah.
you're so confident in how you speak, and I mean your goals are so inspiring. I think is there anything that concerns you about your goals? What would you say are your own issues that you could be coached on?
Well, I mean, amidst it all, there's always the fear of messing up. And
Yeah.
I think to a great extent, that's one of the biggest challenge, that perhaps I am not going to be in a position to actually, create that change in someone's life.
Mm-hmm.
So and sometimes as well, the other part, it becomes quite daunting, that you feel that you are always the one that has the strength or the backbone. And that has happened to me throughout my life, throughout my own journey, that persons think that you always have it together. And sometimes I have to show my own vulnerability and let persons know that there are times I'm going to need a shoulder to cry on. There are times I want to scream, I want to pull my hair out. But I think my biggest fear is that I will not be able to help, and I try to remind myself that, it's going to happen. You will not be able to save everyone. You will not be able to make that change in everyone's life. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, I mean, people are responsible for themselves
But
also. You're a facilitator, right? To guide people on that journey, but they have to participate in that journey
exactly.
too.
Exactly.
Wow.
And I really stress empowerment a lot in my own life, as well as my therapy and how I approach situations. Because one of the things that I would have seen over the years is that it is so easy to develop um, a spirit of dependency. That when someone tries to help, you become solely dependent on them.
Yeah.
And I try to get persons out of the victim mindset. That even though something has happened, you can survive. But I want you to even move from surviving to thriving, which is a big difference, because sometimes we get so trapped that, okay, I survived this and I'm stuck there. But what's the next step? The next step is to begin to thrive. And one of the things about thriving is that you now turn over the leaf to understand that your journey can now empower someone else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm
Yeah.
sure there'll be a lot of women in particular listening in who aspire to have the job and the business, because you definitely your cake is big. But obviously that's not an easy thing to do. That's a lot to balance. Is there any secret to your success that you can share?
I pace myself. So I set a lot of short-term goals, and every time I overcome that, then I set a new one. I try my best not to be um, too grandiose, in the sense that I don't want to take on too much too soon.
Yeah.
And I know my limitations. I understand the limitations that I'm working with, and I try not to overpower myself. Because when that happens, that's when you go into panic mode. You go like, oh my God, this is not working, this is not happening. And the other thing I would say, get a support system. Mentorship is so important. And sometimes people shy away from mentorship because you think when you ask for help, it shows that you are at fault or you have some weakness. But I am quick to show where my deficiencies are. And I will say to you, Dee, I think I can learn something from you. How did you do this? And I'm open to learn. So I
Yes.
tell persons all the time, be open to learn. Every single day, be open. Because one of the things in the Caribbean, we make the statement that stagnant water breeds mosquitoes. Okay? And
Yeah.
think about it, that if you're not growing, then you're dying.
True.
And practically, what I tell persons all the time, if ever you get to a space in your life when you are thinking, I have arrived, that's when you're dying. Because even when you have achieved it all, there is still something else that you can learn. There is still something new that you can experience. So never give up on experiencing new things.
Wow. And what would you say has been the hardest part of your journey to where you are now? What is the biggest challenge you've overcome?
Feeling alone. Like I have that support system here, but there have been times where I felt like a lot of things I had to struggle through by myself. And it's partly because I think a lot of persons see me as this strength figure, that they probably think that, okay, I don't need the help. And over the years as well, I realized one of my deficiencies is actually asking for help. So I learned that as well. And I think one of the major things in my own journey that um, actually really affected me was the loss of my mom. I mean, both parents have passed, but I was really close to my mom. And when she passed, it actually set me back. Like I felt like I staggered. I literally stopped in my position for a while, and I had to learn all over again how to move past this. And when I discovered that, what I did, my mom died of cancer. So getting into the mindset of thriving, I started a cancer support foundation here in St Vincent. So I use my pain to turn it into something else that can help others to avoid that pain, because I knew what it felt like, and it wasn't great. It wasn't pleasant at all. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And I would imagine your mom is very proud of everything that you've achieved.
I pray so. I pray she is. Yeah.
So if there's anyone listening in who's aspiring to the kind of work that you do, I think coaching is an amazing niche to be in, an amazing
Yeah.
business. And I've seen a lot more coaches coming through in the Caribbean. What would you say to
Yeah.
anyone who's considering becoming a coach, maybe as their side hustle or even their full-time
Yeah.
job?
First and foremost, I would say make sure it's something that you're passionate about. Because oftentimes we can jump onto something because we think it has the financial rewards or it has the prestige or something, but your heart is not really in it. And
Yeah.
after a while, you're going to feel tired and weary because it's not what I want to do. So make sure your heart is in it. Do the research. That's what I did. I did the research to find out because there are a lot of different coaching courses, and you have to make sure that you find one that resonates with you and fits into your own belief system and your own values, because some of them can air off into things that maybe you might be a bit uncomfortable with.
Yeah.
Do the research and seek out a mentor. Seek out someone who has walked the path before and can guide you in terms of the process to get where you want to go.
Brilliant. Fabulous advice. Fabulous advice. Well, look, Jozelle, thank you so much for giving us some of your precious time today. For those of you
Yeah.
that are listening in, you'll see Jozelle's contact details come up again. I encourage you, go download the app, check out
Yeah.
valueexperience.com. If you need some coaching or some psychological assistance, I don't think there's anyone better than Jozelle here to be able to support you with that. So Jozelle, keep in contact with us. Let us know how you get on with your
Yes.
fabulous app.
Yes, I will. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Not at
Thank
all. It was
you.
great to have you here. And everybody else, we'll see you tomorrow again for our next masterclass. Bye.